home is where the heart is. Living as a nomad for the last 17, 18 months, I've really come to appreciate this phrase, home is where the heart is, a lot more. I thought it was just some cheesy thing, but I totally get it now. So this episode is more of Jeff quizzing me on our nomadic travels, again, how the kids are responding. And I let him in on what's called the adjustment period that a lot of people don't talk about when they adopt this kind of lifestyle. So if you want to chat about nomadic living, let me know. Send me a text. Phone number is going to be at the end of this episode. This is episode number 177 of the W2 Capitalist podcast.
So you're away from your home a lot. That never just gets old, man. Maybe I've asked you this already.
You have, and so
I get it. I get the travel thing, but you're always in.
You're either fascinated or annoyed by us not the way that we live.
I just don't know how you do it. Like, I can't wait to get home. I can't wait to get out of Florida and go home and and be in my own house and drive my own car and like have my own things. And I get the traveling thing. I like to travel too, but you're just always gone. So I don't even like, when was the last time you were in your actual
home? May. We were there for 3 weeks. Before then, it was October, and we were there for about 3 weeks.
Wow.
So yeah, we left in June of 2021, and we've been home a total of about 6 weeks.
Jeez.
Since then.
I know Brody and Caitlin, like, they're like, no, this is
nothing. Yeah.
And we'll go to different countries, you know. But I don't know. Like, I hate being in Florida. I fucking hate it. Like, I don't mind coming here to see family and friends and whatever for what event or holiday or whatever for like 4 days. But I like my shit. Like, I like my comfort zone. I like my stuff. And I know because Trina's sick right now, and like, she is totally done with this remodeling thing, thank God. But guess who's got to pick it up?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be here a while, and I fucking hate being here for that amount of time, like without the family and without my shit. And it's at least it's familiar to me because I lived in this house for 8 months or whatever, and
yeah,
she has family here, but I'm dreading it because I know I'm going to have to stay here till this shit gets done. And that's going to be at least 3 weeks minimum.
Well, then set that mental expectation. Say, hey, I'm going to be gone for 3 weeks. And then before you know it, that time's going to be up. Right. To answer your question, I don't necessarily know, like, it doesn't take me a whole lot to, I think I just heard Cassie laugh. Yeah, it really doesn't. There is an adjustment period. Like, when we move from one place to the next, there's a good 2 to 3 days where we're getting used to a space and whatnot. And we're like, all right, how are we doing that? Like, we were in Duck, North Carolina.
Love Duck.
It was a great time.
I've been in Duck.
Yeah. And but the only place that we could find within our budget, it was a 1-bedroom with a sleeper sofa.
Oh,
so we were there for a week. I was like, it's a week. We can do a week. What's the now? I probably should have went to the chiropractor, a couple of times during that week, but because then girls are in the main bed, the guys are on the couch. Camping out on the couch. But there is some adjustment time, and really the kind of the first 90 days. And you'll hear this if you talk to anybody who goes full-time RVing or whatnot. There's a full first 90 days. For us, it was probably a little bit longer than that. That you're like daily asking yourself, what in the hell did I do? What are we doing? Why are we doing this? But now, it's about every 2.5, 3 months, the kids will start asking about, hey, when are we going home? you know, and we'll go home, we'll get recharged. And then when we were there last 2 times, we were there for a few weeks. They're like, "Hey, when are we going on our next trip?"
Oh.
So um, I don't know.
Well,
I just kind of look at it. Hey, it's a business
I
trip, you
yeah, I
know?
mean, I know that roller coaster. Like we spent a month in New Zealand, and trust me, there are worse places, obviously, to stay for a month. But you know,
Yeah.
there was definitely like this roller coaster of like, Jesus, can I just fucking go home? And then
Mm,
next thing you know, you're like, this is fucking awesome. Like we're having a
yeah.
great time, you know. And but I don't know. Like when we're traveling, like it's for vacation, but you're not really like vacationing. Like
We're it's
you're
not
working,
vacationing.
and
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
like to me, I would just be like, can't I just do this from home? You
yeah.
know?
It's not vacation mode, and that's kind of where that first 90 days came into play, where it was like we were thinking we were on vacation, where you've got to pack so much into one little time slot. But we're like, no. And I think probably what's helped me kind of come at ease, it took me a long time, probably up until about 2 months ago, did I kind of realize this, but we're not going to do this forever. Eventually the kids are going to get old enough and they're not going to want to do this with us and they're going to do their own thing. We may have it may be another year. It may be another 5 years. I don't see it going past that where we're doing that. Um, but
I think it's actually like it maybe not be good for every kid, but all right. So we've moved 4 times in 4 years.
hmm,
My son has been to fucking like 5 schools in that period.
yeah,
I think back to my childhood, and I literally lived in the same house, and I grew up and went to the same shit and everything, and it would have fucking terrified me if I had to
hmm,
move and start a new school. My son's excited about it. Like
yeah,
Yeah.
I never worry about my son like starting a new school. Like he just rolls up in there and he's like, "Who's my new friend?" You
right.
know?
And he wouldn't have. I
That
mean,
yeah.
so I'm going to play devil's advocate. If you guys were like in the house that he was born in, right, and still went to that school and you'd stay there forever, he would probably be the same mindset of that you have, right, and that I had until Cassie convinced me differently. Like, no, we got to stay home. We got to do it from home. Blah blah blah. And I think it's just the different. They don't know any different. Our kids don't know any different right now, right? And this is a chapter in our lives. One day we're going to close it up and we'll be able to review all, live back through all those memories, but it's not going to something this. And that's kind of what's allowed me to, I don't want to say be at ease, but not stress about it so much. You know what I mean?
Well, I have a theory that everybody fucks their kids up in some way.
In some way.
In some way. Like, is there anybody sitting here right now who can tell me they're as adults, they might have great parents. I had great parents. They were good providers. We had a great life. But there's shit that they did that fucked with me,
Sure.
down the
Oh,
line.
I'm sure there are times where I've screamed at our kids and that will haunt them forever. Right. Not meaning to. And I should have apologized today for something I did. I hadn't done that yet. But the other day I reacted to something that was said or done. And I lit into them just like this. And then afterward, after I calmed down, I went back and I was like, all right, I want to apologize. I reacted instead of responding to what happened. And
Ooh,
so
that's
I'm going to
good.
work on responding instead of reacting the way I did. I apologize. Do you forgive me? We hugged it out and
No, I literally did that before we came here. Like I was in a rush, and I overreacted, and I literally I did the same thing. I swallowed the pride, and Owen was in the back. I was on the phone with Trina. She was bitching about something, and I went off. And once I dropped Owen off, like I called her back, and I was like, "Look, I'm sorry, I screwed you
yeah.
up." But my son, it's funny. My son's always on team mommy.
Yeah.
no matter what.
Oh yeah, my kids are too.
And I'm hoping that the girl will be on Team Daddy at some point. But like,
I got no chance. It's not gonna happen.
But see, the point is like, even if I'm not yelling, but she's yelling, like he thinks I'm the problem. Like she could just be in a bad mood, PMS, whatever, and I'll just be sitting there being like, and
that's fair.
He'll see that.
Not fair. I mean, it's not fair, but I understand where your son's coming from there.
She'll see that like if she's yelling, it's my fault. If I'm yelling, it's my fault.
It's a check valve. It's the check valve of parenthood.
And I came to this realization during the 2 weeks that I was watching the kids, because we were driving down the road, and out of nowhere, he's like, I don't really like how you talk to mommy sometimes. I'm like, oh, crap.
Damn.
Wow. With the balls on that one.
Like, I know, right?
Your kid's got huge balls.
So
I'm sorry. You're getting out right now.
Yeah.
I get it. Like,
you're a man. You can buy your own car.
Me and Trina do. Yeah, right. Me and Trina do fight a lot, but it's because we work together. We're married together. We're both very opinionated, but it's always in different opinions. And I brought up an instance where like she was yelling at me so much that it woke him up, and he literally came out and was like, "Mommy, calm down." And I was like, "Thank you, Owen." I was just sitting there, just like being calm. Like it wasn't like a back and forth. I was just sitting there, like, she's just having a moment. That's fine. I get it. We all have them. And I brought that instance up, and I was like, "Okay, Owen, do you remember the other night when mommy was screaming and I was just sitting there, and it woke you up, and you came up and you told her to calm down?" He goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Was that my fault too?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I knew from that moment that
you're done.
No matter what. And don't get me wrong, like I'm just as guilty as being a bad person. Like I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be. I never will. But I also feel like I'm not always like I might have a hand in something that's the guilty party, but I'm not always the guilty party. But he'll always see it that if mommy's distressed, that's daddy's fault.
Yep.
Always.
So before we go on with this, Jeff, I want to talk to you about this, but I want to give Jay like a pleasant way of bowing out. Like, do you want to go?
Oh yeah, if you gotta go, Jay.
I do need to.
All right, Jay, you can go, but I want to talk about this, Jeff.
I will say this though on the kids and kind of one of the things I try to do is make them uncomfortable, right? I mean, we talk about in the mastermind a lot how your growth comes from getting outside of your comfort zone.
Push them in the pool.
So, well, not necessarily that. One of the minor things we do that sometimes just disrupts their world is we will rearrange their car seats.
Oh my God!
Like,
don't even
who's
get started on
sitting that. Where, and we will do that on purpose. And man, it is
it's crazy.
Now we have to be in the right mood to do it, but it's like, all right, you're a
better man than me.
And so we will do that from time to time. But I think the whole lifestyle and traveling, it's definitely gotten them out of their comfort zone, and we've seen them grow more in the last year than their entire lives. The various ages, and you hear this a lot about people who travel a lot with their families, just the family bond, how much stronger it gets. Yeah. It's pretty incredible. That. So
yeah, I mean,
that is the fourth time if you ask me. I'm expecting the next time we talk, it's going to come up again. And we're going to get to the bottom of why you keep asking this question. I feel like deep down inside, you are ready to do this
together, Jeff.
You want to do this, and you're ready to do it.
No, I know what my fate is. I know it's coming. And I'm trying to mentally prepare for it. So I'm asking you these things.
Jeff, you always have a place here in Virginia to stay with us if you want to come up here.
I got plenty of places in Virginia to stay.
Yes, but mine specifically, you can stay with us. You and your whole tribe.
Not if you're gonna take the shits that you described earlier.
I told him about the Disney shit where I like facepalm that kid out of the way.
This is very true. 100%
that is
true. I
incredible.
witnessed it.
That was true.
That is
I wasn't
incredible.
exaggerating at all. I was actually underestimating. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right, Jeff,
Yeah.
next time or sometime in the future, let's talk about how to get mentally prepared.
I know it's my fate, and I just want to like get updates from you because I just don't like. I get like, I mean, it's not like you're anywhere exotic. You're in fucking Myrtle Beach, like like how fucking fun could that be?
What the fuck? Jay, I think you're an exotic place. Don't listen to what Jeff says.
It's one thing if it's like, I can go home and I can say, hey, everybody, I went to this, like I did earlier. I went to New Zealand, but you come back and you're like, yeah, I was in Myrtle Beach for a few months. And they'll be like, what the fuck for?
Most people have responded that way. They're like, why Myrtle Beach? And I'm like, I don't know. We wanted to stay in the Southeast because of the price of diesel, and we didn't, or whatnot. And which we got rid of the truck today. We got a new vehicle today, gas burner. So I just got a pay increase right there. I filled up for less than $70, and I was super excited about it.
So you're driving a Prius?
No.
Tow packages on them Prius are legendary.
Yeah, they're good. But no, it's here's what I realized early on, Jeff, is here's what I need to not stress. I need high speed internet so we can run all our businesses. And here, whatever our daily budget is. Those two things are the only two things that I really care about. So she finds the places and she books them. And so when we decide on location, when she finally finds something in location, so what do you think about this? I'm like, what's the internet? What kind of internet do they have? And what's the total cost?
Here's something super important. Because
early on,
does she like, I mean, all right, let's say you stay in a place for 4 nights, right?
Okay.
And you're ready to get on your motorboat and head out or whatever, RV or whatever.
Yeah. Where did motorboat come from?
I don't know. It's the first thing in my mouth. Does she pack everything up and have everything nice and neat and she's gathering the kids and getting them dressed and making sure they're fed and all that kind of stuff? It's
a good team effort. Moving day is a bit chaotic because
who's in charge of what?
It's different. I mean, she likes to have things packed a certain way, so she'll get stuff ready to put by the door, and then we have a 5x10 utility trailer that we haul, and so I'll be loading it up. Sometimes she helps me load it up. Sometimes
she puts it by the door. You put it in the trailer.
Yep. Sometimes the kids help us. Sometimes she does it if depending on if I've got something going on with work and we've got to get out, but I've got to do this. I've gotten a little bit better about not scheduling stuff on moving days.
I'm convinced that my wife only keeps me around to clean up after the three of them and be their pack mule of like lugging their shit. Like,
I've made that comment before. I'm just the mule.
Yeah. But at least she packs it and puts it on your back.
Yeah.
I have to pack it and put it
on your back. No, it's a team effort. It's a team effort for sure.
I don't mean to bitch about her. As it obviously seems like that, but
Caitlin will tell you my superpower is showing up when the work is already done.
Literally, like last 2 minutes of the work.
And all my best friends. And everybody who's known me for more than 5 minutes.
It's already done.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Well, there's only 2 of you though. There's 4 of us, and I can keep up with just her. It's just keeping up with the 4 of them. Like when we travel, it's just chaos. Like it's just me constantly just driving, unloading, cleaning up, loading back up, driving.
And so the other rule is we have to stay somewhere for a minimum of 2 weeks because of Yeah,
I can work with.
that we have that minimum, and that was one of the first things that we realized the first 90 days or so. I mean, I emotionally and stress related, I went to some of the deepest and darkest holes I've ever been in because let's rewind a year ago. What is this, Wednesday? I couldn't tell you where we were living next Wednesday because we were living week to week. And you know, by the time we got to New York, we were spending $400 a day. And I'm like, we're going bankrupt really quick if we don't change something. And so now, you know, that was the thing. We've got to be able to stay somewhere for 2 week minimum, a month, preferably, maybe even longer if it's a place that we know, you know, where we're going. But yeah,
so this is the way it's just going to be. Like, you're just going to move on out of Myrtle Beach at some point. And
yeah, next Tuesday we're leaving, and we'll be making our way back down to Florida. So we'll be in Florida for 2 months, maybe 2.5 months. Back home. We'll be back home.
Oh, Pensacola.
Yeah. And we'll be there until about middle November, and then we'll be gone after that, probably until the middle of January at least. And then after that, I don't know.
Yeah.
It really helps my stress level. The further out we plan, the easier it gets. Like,
see, I don't get that. I don't get that. I mean, I'm not saying I don't understand that. I'm saying I don't get that. Like,
yeah, I'm following you.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to table.
That's good.
I don't. It's always just like boom. Like,
yeah,
we're out. All right, I'm gonna ask you again.
No, let's do it. Let's keep peeling back that onion and figure out.
Because once we catch up on our flips and our you know, turning long terms into STRs, like she's gonna wanna fucking hit the road, and I don't mind hitting the road. I know, like, once we leave, like, because I've left before, and the next thing I know, it's like 3 months later. It's like,
yeah.
So,
yep.
All right, cool, man. Good. Put your kids to bed. Good talking.
Enjoyed
to
it.
So, all right. Hey, one more thing, real quick. Like this time thing. Like, I'm a man of like routine, and you threw this 8 o'clock at me. Like, what are we doing from here on out? You know.
I don't know. I meant to look at the calendar before we got on the call tonight, and I was not able to. So speaking of man of routine, who on Monday,
sorry. I know, but at least, like, I brought it to the group. Like,
yeah, like what, an hour before, you're like, hey, you mind if we move it up an hour? Because I'm a man of routine. What is that about?
That was middle of the day, man. Middle of the day. I get what I knew that was coming.
Yeah. Well, later gives us a higher probability of all being done, right?
That's fine. Like, all the conferences are done. Like, you know, obviously it'd be better if the kids are asleep.
Yeah.
I'm fine now. I guess I just need to pay closer attention to, but it's like, I just don't understand, like, why did you change it like by half an hour? Like, did you have a reasoning behind it, or it was just a slip of
Monday? I thought I may have had some stuff come up that got canceled, and it was just different. I don't have an answer for you, Jeff. I don't know.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
Have a good night, Jay.
When you leave a review, and I hope you do, don't forget to tell us who you are and leave 5 stars. That's from Dirty Jobs Micro. Listen, guys, if you're interested in exploring any of the products or services that I use to make my real estate investing career easier, or you want to explore joining us in the W2 Cap Plus community, where you can hang out with guys like myself, Brody, Jamie, and Jeff on a routine basis, there's going to be a link somewhere in the description or comments or something like that, wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast. But as promised, if you have any questions whatsoever, or you feel like I can help you in anything we talk about here today on this episode or any of the previous episodes, send me a text. I was going to say, give me a call, but chances are, if you're not in my phone book, I'm not going to answer. So send me a text. Let me know what episode you're listening to and how I can potentially help you. We'll find a time to get on a call. Okay. My cell phone number is 205-249-0248.